Sparrow hazily opened his eyes. His nose twitched with the familiar scent of herbs, and he started to relax a bit. In his haze, he felt a familiar soft paw stroke him over the ears. Silly Tom, don't fight on my behalf. The voice started to get a bit clearer as he remembered who it belonged to. Frostbloom? He simply purred and gave her a nuzzle in return. You've got quite an injury on your leg. I stopped the bleeding by binding it in some snakeskin, but, well, you're going to be feeling this one for a bit. She sighed and looked out over the fields beyond. Why would you do something like that? Attack your own clan... groupmate? Sparrow felt confused by the question, until anger surged at the memories. He deserved it. Skip always looks at you with such hatred and suspicion. It's not fair. He lashed his tail angrily. And now they're refusing to let you be a wildcat, all because one... Sparrow? He stopped mid-sentence to look at her, lying his head down gently on the soft moss once more. It was difficult to hold it up. Frostbloom's eyes were bright. I'm a wildcat now. Olive, Sunshine, and Shorttail were all for me staying. Sparrow simply stared up at her, his jaw slightly agape. Seriously? She nodded. He couldn't help but the purr that rose up in his chest. Frostbloom carefully lay down next to him, and the two fell silent for a bit. Listen, Frostbloom started. Her ears were flicking back and forth, as if listening for something around them. But Sparrow didn't hear anything. There's something I need to tell you. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Sims 3 Warrior Cats challenge. So, we did actually have a fight, and Sparrow did in fact get pretty injured. He actually got a severe wound. Skip only has a minor wound, but yeah, Sparrow got a severe wound. He actually lost 2 hunting skill. And I do want to say I actually changed his pattern a little bit as well, just because he really is so similar to his mom. So I did change that a little bit. I just removed the dots from this arm over to his hind leg, and then some dots on his rump to his shoulder or so. Just so you know, I did swap his design around a little bit, just to make him a little bit more unique from his mother, who was actually in here asking Frostbloom how he was doing and such. So Frostbloom actually did use 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 snakeskins, which does have a pretty high chance of actually infecting the wound, but thankfully it didn't. And because of that, we actually got rid of his bleeding. So he's no longer bleeding. That's wonderful. And as I said, he did get a serious wound. So he has 2 days of initial hit, which is like a worse version of it. So right now he only has 50% sleep and a 25% chance of infection, which is pretty bad. And I cannot initiate any active actions for him. And he's still pretty angry at Skip. I'm gonna say he, well, I mean, I would say that he learned his lesson, but not really. And Skip actually still wants to chasten his Frostbloom now, but I think I will make it so that when he gets new wishes, he'll cross over these, I think. The two really don't like each other, and he and Sparrow are on negative again, unfortunately. But the cats actually did keep talking, and they decided that Frostbloom is now actually a wildcat. And I think they're just called wild. But she was actually allowed to stay as a wildcat. So she is officially a wildcat now, which is wonderful. And as for the events today, oh my gosh, where's all the prey? In your inventories, I think? Yeah, and Sunshine did actually just talk to Frostbloom, so we're gonna have her put her medical items in there, and let's have these two. I don't know if Skip would have given her the worm rat, but I think he would have put it in the prey pile and then she would see it here and put it in her own inventory, I think. And then we also have there and there. There we go. Okay, so, Frostbloom, you can just scratch and stuff. But she is a wildcat now, and as for the event generator today, we did actually have quite an interesting one. We have gotten it before, but I've just kind of re-rolled it because it's kind of impossible right now. But now that we have a medicine cat, we did actually get a message from StarClan. And I had to interpret that slightly differently due to how the story is going. But point is, something is coming from StarClan. And, well, it might not be our StarClan per se. It could be, I don't know, an ancient version of it, perhaps? But I won't say anymore. You'll get to find out later this episode. We will have a little event, and that's gonna be really, really fun. Because you will finally learn what Frostbloom's secret is. So, we'll get to that soon enough. And Olive is just eating. So, Olive, let's see, Sunshine and Shorttail all agreed to let Frostbloom stay. Sparrow obviously agreed, and I think Sprout, I think they are allowed because they are, well, they're 35 days left, so they're like pretty much just adults at this point. Which means if we did actually have apprentices and stuff, they would actually be gaining their names today. Oh, that would be exciting, but unfortunately we don't have apprentices or anything. But they're pretty much, they can like, what's it called? Lead the patrols and stuff now. You broke a bird, I believe, but oh well. We'll have your hunger go all the way up, and then we'll delete a piece of beetle. But yeah, so he actually, they are completely, let's see, I think he would be a bit too nervous to pounce Frostbloom at this point, honestly. But they are, Sprout and Sparrow are completely adults now, so they are now allowed to like take on mates, and they are allowed to go on patrols. They're allowed to do literally anything any adult would. I think mates, honestly, I'm thinking, well, I don't know how to quite decide it. I think it kind of depends. So, maybe we wait until there's like 30 days left or something? I don't know. We'll find it out. I might actually increase just the adult lifespan ever so slightly, and then decrease the elder lifespan with 7 days. I think I might actually do that, so I'll increase the adult lifespan. Okay, hold on. Maybe we do this together. So cat. Yeah, because if we do a calculator here, you guys will be with me as I decide these things for once. So we have 42 days, which basically each year, so 7 times 4 is 28. And that times 2 will be 56. Which means 42 plus 14 is 56. So they are elder and adult for about 2 years, is exactly pretty much. But that means they are almost, I think I'm gonna go down. So they are elders for a season. And then they are adults for 49 days instead. Possibly still elders for 14 days. Do we still do that? Because in that case, when they have 40 days left... Okay, let's try that. Let's see, what are their days? Okay, so it's 41 now. So I'm thinking when they have 40 days left, they will be warriors. So they have a little over, yeah, so because it's 49 days. It's 49 days. So they have 7 days as kittens, which is 1 season, and then they have 9 days as apprentices slash, you know, young cats. Like, you know, young adults or something. Pretty much. And then they are fully 100% adult at 40 days left. So they have 40 days plus, yeah, okay, so that means they will be adult for 40 days plus 14, which is 54. So they will be adult for pretty much 2 years, which it wasn't before, because like a part of the adult year wasn't even, like that was like teenager slash young adult. Because they are apprentices. So I think this is actually going to be better. So the cats in their hole survive for about, let's see, so 49, let's see, 49 plus, sorry, 49 plus 14 plus 7 is 70 days. So they survive for 10 seasons in total. I think that's a pretty average, like that's a pretty good, if we say a season is about 10 episodes as well, then it's about 100 episodes per like full cat lifespan. That sounds pretty good. I think that's that's good. Okay, I don't mind my complete changing of the rules all of a sudden. It just felt like Sprout and Sparrow grew up a little bit too fast, just ever so slightly, but 9 days as apprentice, I feel like that makes a bit more sense. Olive, what are you catching? Nothing, apparently. Let's see. It is actually day shift. I think Sunshine, or Skip and Sparrow are still gonna be injured right now. But we no longer have White Cough here, so she's gonna go down to cannot initiate training. And she has a common cold for 1 more day. She's almost done. So common cold. There we go. Common cold, and she cannot initiate training, but now she can finally go hunting for the first time in what feels like 10 years. Okay. Olive had like a really long white cough, and then white cough, and then a really long green cough, and then a really long white cough again, so she just got really unlucky with the rolls. There is a chance that it's really, really long how she had it, or it's really, really short. I mean, that kind of depends on if you max the rolls or not when rolling how long they have it. But here is little Sparrow, and he's actually feeling a little bit under the weather, not gonna lie. So he actually got a scratch on his chin, or shin, sorry, not his chin, his shin, here on his foreleg. So it's a pretty nasty scratch, and you see that white sort of like beige covered over it. I tried to make like snake skins as if it's been wrapped, because we didn't have any leaves or anything to avoid infection. So I tried to like show it on the wounds, but it's wrapped in snake skins right now, which means it's not bleeding, thankfully. He's not doing too badly. I mean, it's right now, it's really not that big a deal. It becomes a big deal when and if it gets infected. That's when it becomes dangerous. And Skip, actually, he has a scratch on his muzzle, as you guys can see there. Oh, there we go. So he actually got a pretty nasty scratch on his muscle. It is only a minor injury, thankfully. But yeah, they got into quite a tussle. Quite the tussle. Short tail... Wait, hold on. Did I change it to 7 days? Or did I change it back to 14? Yeah, okay, it's 14 days. Okay, very good. Very, very good. I think this is feeling good with the ages now. It's just a season longer, pretty much, but I think it's enough to make it feel a bit more realistic. Well, realistic it's not. But it feels pretty good with how the cats and how fast the game goes and stuff as well, so. About 2.5 seasons each. Actually, exactly 2.5 years is what I meant. 2.5 years is a cat life in our series this time. That sounds great. Let's see. Maybe we should actually have maybe we should have... How old are you now, Olive? She has 30 days. Okay, so there's like 11 days in between these two. I think we will do it so that it's 20 days in between. Lots about the ages today. I do apologize. But yeah, so an apprentice is an apprentice for 40 or for 9 days, and then they have 40 days left. And the cat has to be like in the same half of those 40 days, if that makes sense. So they have to have be within 20 days of each other. I think that's a pretty accurate. So a cat who has 40 days left can no longer be with a cat who has 20 days left or 19 days left. It's 20 max, so 19 days left. Something like that. I feel like that it looks a lot more drastic down here on the bar than it really is, just because our lifespans are pretty short. But that does actually mean these two only have 11 days in between them. These two have a bit... Sparrow and Frostbloom actually have a little bit more of an age gap. But as I said, Sprout and Sparrow aren't even, like, they won't have any romantic... I mean, they might have crushes and stuff like that, but they won't have any cats... No cats will have, like, a romantic relation before they are 40 days left of adulthood. And that's also when they would get their name. So that's kind of how I'm playing it. It's not, like, fully to real life or anything like that. I'm not trying to be super realistic. I'm just trying to be... have somewhat of a plan to not have too big an age gap. Which we have now decided is 20 days. Okay, could actually... Skip, you are actually pretty hungry, and you also need a little bit of social. And someone is eating this bird, apparently. Okay, but I think as morning kind of sets in, Sparrow is feeling a little bit better. Skip and Shorttail, actually, they wanted to, like, practice hunting or practice fighting together, like, ages ago. So let's actually have them chase around. Although, Skip, are you allowed to do that? You're not allowed to train anything, so... Well, we'll have them do just one little practice, and that's gonna be it. But we do actually have that message from StarClan going on, so... Let's go ahead and see how that goes. Frostbloom sat nervously, working her paws on the ground, as if the frost stuck to the grass was much more interesting than all the cats sitting in front of her. She couldn't believe Sparrow had talked her into this. She had felt safe talking to him about her visions. But she barely knew some of these cats, not to mention Skip, who was already glaring claws at her. Sunshine looked around at the other cats. So, what did you want to tell us? She meowed, a hint of curiosity lightening her tone. Frostbloom looked at Sparrow, as if asking him for support, but he simply nodded. This was something she had to do on her own. She took a deep breath as she began. Long ago, cats called warriors lived here, in this very forest. They lived by a code, talking to their ancestors in StarClan, and, well, they lived in clans. She looked at the others. Some looked at each other with skepticism, others with confusion. She took a breath and continued. They were great survivors, but even the great couldn't have survived the disaster that ended them in the end. Now, these ancient warriors, they talk to me through my dreams. They keep crying out and go on and on about cats on their territory. Unworthy cats. At that, Skip let out a big snort. Oh, that's just great. So you claim a bunch of long-dead cats want us to move? Well, I'm not going anywhere. Frostbloom hesitated at his tone. Shut it, Skip, muttered Sparrow under his breath. But Frostbloom was grateful he didn't take it further. Although she couldn't tell if that was due to his injury or if he was finally learning some self-restraint. So, what do they want from us? Olive began. This is our territory, and I, for one, am tired of moving. Frostbloom nodded her head in her direction, as an indication that she'd heard what the She-Cat had to say. These last couple nights, well, ever since I started living in the camp, they've been clearer than ever, and they keep repeating the same thing. Find the heart of the wild. Silence filled the den once more, as cats thought this over. Skip looked outright disbelieving. Sunshine had a look of skepticism on her face, and Olive looked a bit nervous of picking sides in the first place. I must say, I'm finding it hard to believe that ancient warriors are talking to you in your sleep, Shorttail spoke up. He looked around at the others, as if debating whether to continue his thought. I know losing a cat can be difficult, but when cats do eventually leave us, they're gone. For good. I wish it wasn't so, but that's a fact of life. Is it possible you've simply been tired with everything that's been going on? Frostbloom slowly shook her head, realizing there wasn't much she could say to change the old Tom's belief. And as the conversation came to an end, Sparrow looked into the rock wall, anger prickling at his pelt at their dismissal of Frostbloom's experience. Skip was the first cat to leave, muttering about how stupid the idea of dead cats coming back was. Sunshine dipped her head politely as she and Shorttail walked out. Sprout had followed his mother halfway out until he realized Olive was still sitting in the den, her paws fluffing at her tail absent-mindedly. She looked up at Frostbloom. I believe you. We'll find the heart of the forest, no problem. But even as she said it, Frostbloom could tell she didn't believe what she had heard. Next to her, Sparrow flicked his tail as the two cats walked out of the den. It's the heart of the wild, he muttered angrily.